How does China manage to build massive bridges seemingly overnight? What's their secret to constructing infrastructure at lightning speed? Hidden deep within their construction arsenal is a top-secret mega-machine, the prized possession of Xi Jinping, the monster that is simply called SLJ-932. China's ambitious infrastructure plans. In the long history of men, technology advancements have defined it like no other thing. Humans have constantly embraced technology like everyday fashion. So, when China started their plans to connect 2/3 of the world, it wasn't a matter of how, but a matter of when. The major contributor to China's ambitious plan is the Belt and Road Initiative, and with the aid of the engineering marvel, Xi Jinping, the monster is simply called SLJ-932. China's BRI, a cornerstone of its China dream, has emerged as a focal point of global discourse, raising questions about its efficacy and implications. While BRI has strengthened China's presence in the global south, lingering concerns persist regarding its overall effectiveness. China's massive Belt and Road Initiative. China's Belt and Road Initiative, sometimes referred to as the New Silk Road or One Belt, One Road, is one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects ever conceived. Launched in 2013 by President Xi Jinping, the vast collection of development and investment initiatives was originally devised to link East Asia and Europe through physical infrastructure. In the decade since, the project has expanded to Africa, Oceania, and Latin America, significantly broadening China's economic and political influence. Some analysts see the project as an unsettling extension of China's rising power, and as the costs of many of the projects have skyrocketed, opposition has grown in some countries. Meanwhile, the United States shares the concern of some in Asia that the BRI could be a Trojan horse for China-led regional development and military expansion. President Joe Biden has maintained his predecessor's skeptical stance towards Beijing's actions, but Washington has struggled to offer participating governments a more appealing economic vision. The BRI is composed of 6 urban development land corridors linked by road, rail, energy, and digital infrastructure, and the Maritime Silk Road linked by the development of ports. Xi Jinping first unveiled the strategy as the Silk Road Economic Belt during an official visit to Kazakhstan in September 2013. The term belt refers to the proposed overland routes for road and rail transportation through landlocked Central Asia, following the historic trade routes of the Western regions. Conversely, road is a shortened form of the 21st century Maritime Silk Road, encompassing the Indo-Pacific sea routes through Southeast Asia to South Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. This initiative is considered a cornerstone of Chinese Communist Party General Secretary Xi Jinping's foreign policy. The Belt and Road Initiative forms a vital component of Xi's major country diplomacy strategy, which aims for China to assume a greater leadership role in global affairs, commensurate with its rising power and status. As of early 2024, over 140 countries had joined the BRI, representing almost 75% of the world's population and accounting for more than half of the global GDP. The initiative was formally incorporated into the Chinese Communist Party's constitution in 2017. The Xi Jinping administration describes the initiative as a bid to enhance regional connectivity and embrace a brighter future. The project has a target completion date of 2049, coinciding with the centennial of the People's Republic of China's founding. Numerous studies conducted by the World Bank have estimated that the BRI can boost trade flows in over 150 participating countries by 4.1%, reduce the cost of global trade by 1.1 to 2.2%, and increase the GDP of East Asian and Pacific developing countries by an average of 2.6 to 3.9%. According to London-based consultants Center for Economics and Business Research, the BRI is likely to increase the world GDP by slightly over $7 trillion per annum by 2040. They also conclude that the benefits will be widespread, as improved infrastructure reduces frictions that hold back world trade. Additionally, CEBR predicts that the project will attract further countries to join if the Global Infrastructure Initiative progresses and gains momentum. Even though supporters praise the BRI for its potential to boost global GDP, particularly in developing countries, criticism has also emerged regarding human rights violations, environmental impact, and concerns of debt trap diplomacy, leading to neocolonialism and economic imperialism. These differing perspectives are the subject of ongoing debate, and constant similarities have been paralleled between BRI and the original Silk Road. Historical context: from the Silk Road to BRI. For more than 1,500 years, the network of routes known as the Silk Road contributed to the exchange of goods and ideas among diverse cultures. The Silk Road is neither an actual road nor a single route. The term instead refers to a network of routes used by traders for more than 1,500 years, from when the Han Dynasty of China opened trade in 130 before Common Era until 1453, Common Era, when the Ottoman Empire closed off trade with the West. German geographer and traveler Ferdinand von Richthofen first used the term Silk Road in 1877 Common Era to describe the well-traveled pathway of goods between Europe and East Asia. The term also serves as a metaphor for the exchange of goods and ideas between diverse cultures. Although the trade network is commonly referred to as the Silk Road, some historians favor the term Silk Routes because it better reflects the many paths taken by traders. The Silk Road extended approximately 6,437 kilometers across some of the world's most formidable landscapes, including the Gobi Desert and the Pamir Mountains. With no one government to provide upkeep, the roads were typically in poor condition. Robbers were common. To protect themselves, traders joined together in caravans with camels or other pack animals. Over time, large inns called caravanserais cropped up to house traveling merchants. Few people traveled the entire route, giving rise to a host of middlemen and trading posts along the way. An abundance of goods traveled along the Silk Road. Merchants carried silk from China to Europe, where it dressed royalty and wealthy patrons. Other favorite commodities from Asia included jade and other precious stones, porcelain, tea, and spices. In exchange, horses, glassware, textiles, and manufactured goods traveled eastward. It is hard to overstate the importance of the Silk Road on history. Religion and ideas spread along the Silk Road just as fluidly as goods. Towns along the route grew into multicultural cities. The exchange of information gave rise to new technologies and innovations that would change the world. The horses introduced to China contributed to the might of the Mongol Empire, while gunpowder from China changed the very nature of war in Europe and beyond. It was such a multifaceted road that even diseases also traveled along it. Some research suggests that the Black Death, which devastated Europe in the late 1340s CE, likely spread from Asia along the Silk Road. The age of exploration gave rise to faster routes between the East and West, but parts of the Silk Road continued to be critical pathways among varied cultures. The Silk Road is commonly referred to as the first global trade route in history, so people are quick to point out certain similarities between the Silk Road and the BRI. The Belt and Road Initiative has two main elements: the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road. The Silk Road Economic Belt will be an overland network of road, rail, and pipelines, roughly following the old Silk Road trading route that will connect China's east coast with Europe via a new Eurasian land bridge. 5 regional corridors will branch off the land bridge, with Mongolia and Russia to the north, Southeast Asia, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh to the south, and Central Asia, West Asia, and Europe to the west. The 21st Century Maritime Silk Road is a planned sea route with integrated port and coastal infrastructure projects running from China's east coast to Europe, India, Africa, and the Pacific through the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean. Just like the Silk Road, the geographic scope of the Belt and Road Initiative is fairly fluid, and on some interpretations has also been extended to Australia and the UK. Although all of these would have been perhaps impossible without the monster called SLJ-Nine Hundred Thirty-two. Introduction to the SLJ-Nine Hundred Thirty-two. To make the BRI a possibility, China simply employed a specialist, the SLJ-Nine Hundred Thirty-two, or otherwise known as the Iron Monster. This is a super heavy launching gantry and one of the largest and most ubiquitous in the world. At over 90 meters in length, this efficient bridge builder is also one of the world's longest terrestrial vehicles. It is built by the Beijing Huaojoint Machinery Company and designed by the Shijiazhuang Railway Design Institute. The SLJ-932, as mentioned earlier, measures 91 meters in length, 7 meters in width, and 9 meters in height. With a weight of approximately 580 tons, its disproportionately long and slender design is necessary for constructing bridges safely and efficiently. Unlike conventional cranes, which require clear land and can only lift a few meters of bridge material per lift, the SLJ-932 can lift entire large segments of bridging material weighing up to 800 to 950 tons in a compact manner without interference from obstacles like trees or rocks. The construction process involves the vehicle carrying a new precast section of concrete from the edge of the bridge to the installation point underneath its belly, where it connects to a predetermined pillar. Using a pneumatic structure, the machine moors to the first pillar, extends to the second one, anchors, and places the beam. This process repeats until the bridge's foundations are complete. The vehicle moves on a large 64-wheel drive system divided into 4 sections of 16 wheels each, forming 2 trucks, one at each end. Each section can rotate up to 90 degrees, allowing the machine to drive sideways for efficient beam pickup. The vehicle can reach a top speed of 8 kilometers per hour unloaded and 5 kilometers per hour carrying a bridge segment. With an operational life of building up to 730 spans before retirement, the SLJ-932 is an impressive piece of machinery. Time limit and costing has always led humans to wonder about ways to work faster, especially to problems associated with the capacity of existing roads and highways. This impressive machine offers the solution to the age-old problem. The bridge girder erection monster machine doesn't have the need for complex and expensive bridge building requirements, like scaffolding or cranes, significantly speeding up the construction process. How the SLJ-932 operates. After picking up the beam needed from its point of origin, the SLJ-932 will drive to the pillars of the bridge and lower a pneumatic support structure, which essentially anchors the machine to the first pillar, allowing it to extend itself out to the second pillar, maintaining an impressive speed at 5 kilometers per hour even when fully loaded. From here, it moves on to a third, depositing the beam as it does so. To watch it in action is perhaps the easiest way to fully understand its efficient, fluid, and fuss-free operation. The machine transports itself via its set of 64 wheels, which are split into 4 sections consisting of 16 wheels each. As each section is capable of rotating 90 degrees, the SLJ-932 can move sideways in order to facilitate easy pickups of beams. Whereas traditional crane-based methods of bridge construction have necessitated that beams and other segments come in sections usually just a few meters long, which are then fixed together, the SLJ-932 is able to utilize beams that are specially prepared to be full length. Expansion joints are used to connect these prefabricated parts. At present, the machine is said to be capable of up to 730 spans, with about 40% of the products being able to push this total up to 1,000 before reaching the end of its lifespan, which averages at 4 years. It is designed to build long bridges consisting of a large number of spans. The works on moving, installing, and securing the finished segments of the bridge to the pre-installed supports are on the shoulders of this machine. It should be noted that the construction of a bridge with the help of such a machine still requires manual labor, but its quantity and severity are incommensurably smaller in comparison with the technologies used in the past century. Case studies: SL-932 in action. One of the few high-profile projects SL-932 has undertaken is the Yibin-Jinsha River Bridge, which is not doubt a marvel of modern engineering, showcasing the capabilities of the SLJ-932 in a high-profile project. As the world's longest road rail steel arch bridge, it spans an impressive 1,476 meters in length and 24.5 meters in width. The bridge's construction was a complex undertaking, requiring the precise placement of massive steel arches and road rail decks. The SLJ-932 played a crucial role in this project, demonstrating its ability to lift and place heavy loads with precision and accuracy. The machine's 64-wheel drive system and advanced hydraulic system enabled it to navigate challenging terrain and tight spaces, ensuring efficient construction. With record-breaking length and width, complex steel arch placement, precise road rail deck installation, challenging terrain navigation, and efficient construction despite tight spaces. Another of these projects is the Mongolia Railway. At the beginning of the 21st century, China had no high-speed railways. That swiftly changed with the introduction of the SL-932. Slow and often uncomfortable trains plodded across this vast country, with low average speeds making journeys such as Shanghai-Beijing a test of travel endurance. Today, it's a completely different picture. The world's most populous nation has, by some distance, the world's largest network of high-speed railways. No fewer than 37 kilometers of lines crisscross the country, linking all of its major megacity clusters, and all have been completed since 2008. Half of that total has been completed in the last 5 years alone, highlighting the importance of the SL-932. Within the next few years, a new railway link between the remote region of Inner Mongolia and the rest of the country was recently built with the help of this colossal machine. The Yubin-Jinsha River Railway Bridge, linking Sichuan and Guizhou provinces of China, was also constructed using the Island Monster. It is the longest road rail bridge in the world, featuring a double-layer structure with a high-speed rail on the steel arch bridge upper layer and a roadway on the lower layer. An arch bridge is one that features abutments shaped like a curved arch at each end. It works by partially transferring the weight of the bridge and its loads onto the abutments on either side. The Ubanian Ship Bridge, constructed by the China Railway Major Bridge Engineering Group, is over 1,800 meters long. Its main span is 336 meters in length. This bridge, and the associated rail line, helped shorten travel times between Guiyang, the capital of Guizhou, and Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan, from 12 hours to just 3. The impact on global infrastructure development. China's Iron Monster builds huge bridges in days that would otherwise take decades. This machine completely automates the bridge-building process, saving time as well as money. It's no secret how incredible Chinese engineering can be. When we think of their architectural prowess, their impressive array of bridges across the nation surely come to our mind. Humongous bridges connecting two ends with a valley hundreds of stories below, making for some really picturesque scenic routes. But have you ever thought, how did they manage to create such magnificent structures and in a lot less time than would normally take others? Sure, skilled engineering know-how is a must for something like this, but China had another cool tool up its sleeve. It's called the SL-932, and the world is sure to take notes. The machine helps to connect long beams on pillars with ease. When the pillars for the bridge are constructed, the machine extends itself and rests on one of the pillars, while an entire pre-constructed section is pushed through its center to connect the two pillars. These efficiencies have led to some of the world's leading countries lobbying to purchase this engineering marvel from China. Most importantly, the SLJ-932 has had a great influence on China's high-speed rail network, which is now the world's largest and most used, offering low fares and reduced travel times. Despite financial challenges and significant debt, the HSR system continues to expand and improve, leveraging advanced technology and strategic international exports. The HSR network has profoundly impacted China's regional development, economic growth, and global infrastructure leadership. Infrastructure investment is widely used by governments to boost economies and promote growth, especially in developing countries. In the wake of the Great Recession, developing countries devoted nearly 40% of their stimulus packages to infrastructure spending, while advanced economies devoted 21% on average. As the largest economy in the world, the United States has also revived the role of infrastructure investment to stimulate the economy, and in 2021, it initiated a new investment policy to enhance infrastructure. Among all countries, however, China stands out for its massive scale of infrastructure expansion in the past 2 decades, providing a particularly compelling case for analyzing the effects of infrastructure-driven development policies. In 2001, the Chinese government adopted the 10th Five-Year Plan, which emphasized enhancing infrastructure. Subsequently, China's infrastructure investment as a share of GDP tripled from about 8% in 2002 to nearly 24% in 2016. In fact, China's infrastructure investment to GDP ratio exceeded even the 95th percentile of the entire government investment's share in GDP for both advanced and emerging economies. As the infrastructure expansion took place, China experienced an average annual real GDP growth rate of 9.6% between 2003 and 2016. Future prospects and challenges. It's no surprise then that the Chinese government plans to expand the country's high-speed rail network, part of public infrastructure spending aimed at shoring up economic growth. The network would connect more than 80% of China's major cities, Vice Transport Minister Yang Yudong said. Last year, China's high-speed railway totaled 19,000 kilometers, and with the aid of the SLJ-932. Overall, China plans to invest over $500 billion in the coming years to further improve the country's transportation services. The plans call for the renovation of expressways and faster construction of railways to serve less developed regions in central and western China. In the last 2 years, officials have responded with ramped-up spending on construction of highways and other public works. China has started operating a new high-speed rail line linking the financial hub of Shanghai in the east with Kunming, the capital of southwestern Yunnan province, a poorer region. The line spans over 2,000 kilometers across 5 provinces, cutting travel time to 11 hours from 35 hours. These advancements and the BRI projects come at a cost, though. There are few comprehensive studies examining the social and environmental impact on development in recipient countries. To address this gap, this study gathered empirical evidence on railroad projects in 3 key countries: Indonesia, Ethiopia, and Kenya. The comparative analysis revealed that while political leaders signed agreements that welcomed China's BRI in support of their national transport development plans, the implementation of these ambitious infrastructure projects faced significant management and operational challenges that had not been foreseen by the Chinese partners. More effective implementation of BRI infrastructure projects in the future will require better understanding of governance, specifically through harmonization with the cultural, institutional, and political contexts in partner countries. Social and cultural characteristics of the countries where Chinese firms are working need to be well understood if sustainable and inclusive benefits from the BRI infrastructure projects are to be delivered. These challenges haven't affected China's unwavering commitment to infrastructure development, as it is poised to revolutionize the construction industry, driving innovation and transforming the way we build. As the country continues to invest heavily in infrastructure projects, we can expect significant advancements in construction technology to emerge. One area that is likely to see substantial growth is automation and robotics. Perhaps soon enough, difficult construction works, especially places difficult to reach for humans, can be sorted by integrating advanced robotics and automation systems. Construction processes will become faster, more efficient, and precise. China's investment in infrastructure will also spur the development of new materials and manufacturing techniques. Innovations like 3D printing will transform the construction landscape, enabling the rapid creation of complex structures and reducing waste. This convergence of technology and materials science will unlock new possibilities for architects, engineers, and builders. The integration of artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things will also play a crucial role in shaping the future of construction. By harnessing the power of data analytics and sensor technologies, contractors will be able to monitor and control construction processes in real time, optimizing efficiency and reducing errors. The role of AI and automation in construction. While the term automation in construction may lead to thoughts surrounding job loss or workers being replaced by robotics, the reality is a lot more complex than that. The truth is, when automation is approached properly and with innovation in mind, it has an overwhelmingly positive effect on the way we operate as a company. The opportunity of AI in construction is to put our people's capacity to their best and most productive use. Whether it be a labor shortage or an increase in demand, the desire to utilize automation in construction can arise for a variety of reasons. Generally speaking, there are three main opportunities for automation in the field. On-site automation is where technology aids in the ability to complete and the efficiency of physical tasks such as laying brick or paving roads. This extends to the factory, where technology aids in the production of materials, for example, 3D printing, digitization and automation of design, planning, and management operations. In our ideal environment, our personnel work alongside emerging automation technologies rather than being replaced. These technologies help to increase a construction site's overall safety and efficiency. For example, instead of completing a physical site walkthrough, the average construction worker may be expected to utilize a tablet to access building drawings or fly a drone for a more efficient task completion. China's iron monster can erect colossal bridges in a few days. How is that possible? The simple answer is artificial intelligence. This aids its operations and also enables China to initiate and carry out the BRI project efficiently with the developed construction machine that not only expedites the construction processes, but results in cost and resources efficiency. The Iron Monster is a step forward in bridge construction that lifts, carries, and sets prefabricated and full-length track sections at an incredible loaded speed, leaving no place for the prolonged on-site assembling process, all this made possible by the innovative use of artificial intelligence, reducing the need for human inputs reduce the oftentimes errors, lapses, and delay attributed to human-machine operators. This has inadvertently given China a massive edge over the rest of the world. The economic impact on trade and connectivity. The development of transportation systems takes place in a socio-economic context. While development policies and strategies focus on physical capital, recent years have seen a better balance by including human capital issues. Irrespective of the relative importance of physical versus human capital, development cannot occur without their respective interactions, as infrastructures cannot remain effective without proper management, operations, and maintenance. At the same time, economic activities cannot take place without an infrastructure base. The highly transactional and service-oriented functions of many transport activities underline the complex relationship between its physical and human capital needs. For instance, effective logistics rely on infrastructures and managerial expertise. Because of its intensive use of infrastructures, the transport sector is an important component of the economy and a common tool used for development. This is even more so in a global economy where economic opportunities have been increasingly related to the mobility of people and freight, including information and communication technologies. A relation between the quantity and quality of transport infrastructure and the level of economic development is apparent. High-density transport infrastructure and highly connected networks are commonly associated with high levels of development. When transport systems are efficient, they provide economic and social opportunities and benefits that result in positive multiplier effects, such as better accessibility to markets, employment, and additional investments. And this is exactly where China will benefit greatly, with the SLJ-932 building bridges faster than restaurants make pizzas. The link to economic advancement is set. When transport systems are deficient in terms of capacity or reliability, they can have an economic cost, such as reduced or missed opportunities and lower quality of life. At the aggregate level, efficient transportation reduces costs in many economic sectors, while inefficient transportation increases these costs. After a decade of development since 2013, the BRI has gradually transformed into a loose, institutionalized framework for international cooperation. The projects presently covered by the Belt and Road, extending from infrastructure to manufacturing, finance, energy, services, logistics, digital economy, and health, will help developing countries along the route accelerate the industrialization process. The BRI provides a platform for Chinese companies and capital to invest in other countries by leveraging China's strengths in manufacturing and infrastructure development and financial power. China has successfully transformed the economic power it has built up since its reform and opening up into expanding influence in the world. The strategic implications for global power dynamics. The Belt and Road Initiative is at the heart of the paradigm shift of Chinese foreign policy. Since its announcement by China's President Xi Jinping in 2013, the BRI has emerged as the centerpiece of China's aspiration to become a global power. China's BRI is rooted in history and inspired by the historic Silk Road, an extensive network of maritime and land routes for trade, communication, and cultural exchanges that once linked China with the Eurasian countries. It fell into disuse around the 1600s after a few glorious centuries. China is now keen for this historical Silk Road to be revived. Since the implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative, China has made every effort to expand cooperation with the BRI countries in the fields of infrastructure, investment, trade, and people-to-people exchanges. The BRI is a globally oriented strategy, and therefore, it has no clear physical boundaries. It is a carefully crafted long-term strategy with an ambitious agenda. The Chinese Central Leadership Team for implementation of the BRI, headed by the Executive Vice Premier of the State Council, has been established since 2013. In October 2017, the BRI was incorporated into the Chinese Communist Party's constitution, demonstrating the party state's determination to push through implementation of this grand initiative. No other countries have ever incorporated their economic initiatives or development plans into their constitutions. China is keen to project a global China image under the BRI. The initiative has been opened up to all countries which are interested, and there has subsequently been a gradual shift away from the ancient Chinese Silk Road narrative based on the historical and cultural significance. Essentially, the BRI is China's outreach, connecting the world with China as the core hub. Nevertheless, several regionally or globally influential countries have not signed up for the BRI to date, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, Australia, India, and Japan. Surprisingly, North Korea, China's close ally, is not in the BRI mapping. Moreover, some countries which have signed up for the initiative have yet to host large-scale infrastructure projects under the BRI framework, for example, Vietnam. Some countries have merely endorsed the BRI formally as a concept and pledged to cooperate with China to promote the initiative. Even if some BRI countries are not hosting BRI projects, their endorsement of the initiative lends credibility to it. One thing for sure is that the world cannot ignore the impact of China's rise and BRI implementation. According to a report published by the World Economic Forum, Chinese enterprises and banking institutions have announced their participation in about 4,000 overseas projects under the BRI since 2013, involving a total investment of over $4 trillion. A poll released in 2022 by the Center for Future Democracy at the University of Cambridge found that 62% of respondents in the developing countries around the world have a favorable opinion of China, compared with 61% of respondents who have a favorable opinion of the United States. Almost two-thirds of respondents from the BRI countries have a favorable opinion of China. According to the Cambridge Survey report, for the first time, China leads the United States in public favorability in developing countries, especially in Asia and Africa. To the Chinese intelligentsia, this survey data documents well the rise of China's geostrategic influence in contrast to the United States' diminishing influence in the world, commonly described as the rise of the East and decline of the West by China. Under the implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative, China has continuously expanded economic and trade ties with other countries, improved the cross-border connectivity of international trade routes, and promoted the sustainability of China's economic development. Conclusion. Over the past 4 decades, China has pursued a national policy of domestic reform and opening up to the outside world, and its development achievements have attracted worldwide attention. With the help of the SL-932 doing the dirty work, the BRI is set to revolutionize the world market, and China is going to be at the head of it. Creating a modern version of the ancient Silk Road would further enhance the trade network all around the world. A part of the world might be skeptical about China's plan, but the works of the SL-932 is a make-believe of the Chinese brilliance and their willingness to bring the world together, for better or worse. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.